So guys, I spent a few hours yesterday on stream testing Sigewinne, and in particular this mono hydro team, which as you might know already is a very popular team for kokomi these days. So I wanted to test if this is Sigewinne's intended team to be played in at the moment, and if she's an upgrade over kokomi here, because that's what I kind of presumed she was going to do based on what her kit did. Now before getting into the gameplay, I do want to preface that I only had 6,000 primos, which is not enough to get Sigewinne myself even if I wanted to. So this gameplay was done on a viewer's account who kindly lent it for the stream, but it uses a C2 R1 Farina and a C1 R1 Sigewinne. Yelan is on a sack bow at C0, same thing with Kozwa and Fav Sword, but I didn't want you to be misled thinking it's a full C0 team like I normally do.
Game's up. Time's over. Busted. Take it easy. Birds come. Here comes the catch. Quietly now. Wind strike. Busted. Game's up. Time's over. Quietly now. Shower me with this. Time to shine. Let's see. Here comes the catch. No. Gotcha. Quietly now. Let the world collide! Wind strike. These are about to get dicey. Contact! Take it easy. Let my name echo in song! Fallen leaves, adorn my... Here comes the catch. Gotcha. Let's see. Yoo-hoo! Quietly now. Game's up. Game's over. Busted. Let the world collide! Let my name echo in song! Let's go! Things are about to get dicey. Wind strike. Gotcha. Quietly now. Hold the line. Let my name echo in song. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted.
One with wind and cloud.
Billowing surge. Let the world collide. Things are about to get dicey. Take it easy. Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted. Strike a pose. Strike a pose.
Let me try.
Time to shine. Here comes the catch. Gotcha. Take it easy. Quietly now. Having Pokemon!
Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now.
Let my name echo in song!
One with nature.
Here, bring from you!
Things are about to get dicey. Busted.
Time to shine!
Into the wind.
Allow me! Permanence of the deep!
Wind strike.
Game's up. Fun's over. Gotcha. Quietly now.
So that was the gameplay. Here's the full builds for the teammates. Furina's got some nice pieces here. C2, as I said, good talents. Yelan, this is the best build that we came up with on this account. It was a mixed set. That's the pieces. C0, talents. Kazuha. C0. So this is the Sigewinne build. This is what we ended up using. Her signature bow with the ocean hued clam set. And basically you build her with this damage cap in mind for her buff, which ends up capping out at 65k HP, which is roughly what you try to aim for. So this is the pieces that we were using. It's actually still the same HP cap at C1, it's just that the damage goes up here. And these are the talent levels. Now I did actually compare in the Abyss using Ocean Hue Clam versus using Songs of the Days Past instead, but this didn't seem to be an improvement. You could also run neither and just use a mixed HP set, maybe 2 pieces Tenacity of the Millilith and 2 pieces of Dia set. Now of course I did spend a few hours doing the Abyss with the Kokomi team too, to obviously compare the clear times, and yeah, Sigewinne does seem like an upgrade. Not a huge one though, but an upgrade nonetheless. So how is she an upgrade? I did make 3 videos about Kokomi Monohydro before if you want to watch that. But just to sum it up, Sigewinne just takes less field time than Kokomi. You basically just use her skill and then you swap out. Meaning you can actually use Yelan on field as your quote unquote main DPS. And she has good fast range attacks just like Kokomi. Except instead of Kokomi's extra damage, you get extra damage from Yelan buffing herself with her exquisite throw buff. Now just using Sigewinne's skill and swapping out, that might not be what you want to hear, but her role is a healer. That is what you have to expect. At least that's how I found she is at C0 and C1. Now at the C6 level, she does use her burst, and I've seen some insane gameplay already for any of you guys who have that. Burst is just kind of like Neuville's charge attack at this point. There's some insane damage output. She seems like one of the strongest DPSs for speedruns. But back to the healer role at C0. In fact, unironically, Kokomi taking screen time is her issue in this team, since although she can deal good damage, if you've ever played this team, the team is just so flexible and quick swap friendly that what happens often in my experience is I might use Kokomi's burst, but I use it really late and I rarely ever get to use her full uptime. It's mostly just a few attacks and then the rest of the team's burst quickly come back off cooldown. The other thing Sigewinne does to make up for Kokomi's damage is her elemental skill buff, which activates after she uses her skill, which is perfect for buffing Furina's skill. So I can show you a quick damage comparison here. Let's see Furina's damage without the buff. Just a reminder, I can only test with a C2 Furina and a C1 Sigewinne, so these damage numbers might be a bit inflated compared to yours if you have C0, but this is just what I can test at the moment. Now let's show with Sigewinne's buffs. But as you can imagine, that buff plus Yelan being able to use her own buff on field, plus Sigewinne's very minimal field time and team-wide heal, you can see how she definitely makes up for Kokomi. So even without those constellations, you can imagine how Sigewinne is being very impactful here in this team. I do also want to say that Mono Hydra is a very good and popular team, don't get it twisted. Sigewinne being an upgrade here can actually make her relevant by itself. Now, is this enough to make people go out of their way to get Sigewinne just for an upgrade in this team? Let's be honest, not really, since she's not exactly a big upgrade in this team anyway, and her role in the team is very minimal, to be honest. And that's the truth regardless of if you're playing Sigewinne or Kokomi. It's mostly a Farina Yelan team, and that goes without saying. But also on the discussion of power creep, you could say it's a fair trade. Sigewinne can be better in Mono Hydro, but Kokomi still has her flexibility. You know, she works great in Nilou Bloom teams, she works great in Ayaka Freeze, which obviously Sigewinne won't be able to compare in. But I guess you can also make the argument that versatility is fine, but you'd rather have the best team, which you could say Mono Hydro is the most relevant one out of all those archetypes, at least at the moment. If you're a newer player to the game and you want to know why Mono Hydro teams work well, the interesting thing is the history of these teams. Basically, originally it was Xingqiu and Yelan. These are both two very good off-field Hydro damage dealers, so you want to buff their damage as much as possible. Kazuha provides more damage increases and grouping. That's why this trio worked well with so many characters in the 4th slot. And then what you could do is then Kokomi would reduce Yelan and Xingqiu's energy requirements even more, and just the whole team has very low energy requirements. Nowadays this core is more like Yelan Farina. So originally with this core, since you've got this trio here and you need some sort of defensive utility, you could use Kokomi, or you used to be able to use Zhongli here, who works similarly, but instead of providing more Hydro Particles, Zhongli with his Red Shred debuff and Archaic Petra just buffs their damage more, and that also let you play Yelan on field. And what happens is that this team actually worked pretty well, and you could argue it worked even better than playing Kokomi on field. But then when Farina came, then she had synergy with healers, which meant Kokomi had a clear advantage over Zhongli in this slot. So that's how this team got strengthened. But then now that Sigewinne is released, then she's kind of basically acts as a mix between Zhongli and Kokomi, letting you play Yelan on field again. So you can see how the team kind of went in a full circle. And yeah, honestly, I just find playing Yelan on field really satisfying. She has a lot of quality of life with her fast movement and her range attacks, and especially being able to justify it more now because of Sigewinne. It does make this team feel really fluid to play, and Sigewinne is definitely an upgrade over Zhongli here, not needing to use Archaic Petra and pick up crystallized shards. That's always been very painful to do. Of course, we did more testing. I do acknowledge that this is a very specific team with multiple 5 stars. So what we ended up doing was testing, instead of Yelan Kazuha, using Sucrose and Fischl, and playing Sucrose in a more on-field role, kind of like a taser team, and this honestly worked out pretty good. It definitely didn't have as much stopping power as Mono Hydro though, but it did have very solid clear times. So this is definitely a team option you can try. But yeah, in conclusion, I think this is Sigewinne's main team at the moment. I think this is the team that people are going to play her in. Although I do want to say there's a good chance that they are actually developing Sigewinne for future synergies as well. Maybe in the next region. It is quite difficult to think what exactly she does so uniquely that will give her another role in the future, but I'm sure they will think of something. To be fair, she does have really strong off-field healing with minimal field time. Perhaps that's something that could be utilized in the near future. Obviously at the moment she's very niche, and I'm sure most people are not going to be pulling her, but I had fun playing Mono Hydra. I think Mono Hydra is a very good team at the moment. So if you're looking for teams to play Sigewinne with, then I would recommend that. But let me know what teams you guys have been trying. Maybe you found success with a different team archetype as well. Let me know. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and yeah, thanks for watching.